All right, let's talk about Under the Silver Lake. Let me start by saying, obviously this movie came out in 2018. So if you haven't seen it and you're planning on seeing it, watch it before you listen
Yes,
to this podcast.
I
Uh,
will.
that is your viewer
Warning.
discretion, your warning. um,
You should definitely go and see it if you like Alfred Hitchcock movies,
yeah,
or just
holy shit, that
kind of
was
like
fucking crazy.
suspense kind of mystery movies. You would like this. Also, if you're okay with it being a little weird.
So like, I don't even know because I got mixed signals the entire time, really.
Okay, tell me what you think
Number
about it.
one, I feel like all the codes and everything else that's like naturally going on, I got like that kind of like they live kind of attitude going on with this whole idea that like, the rich and the powerful or something else is like controlling the world, like the Matrix kind of feel. Like this
Hmm.
idea that there's something greater that is like controlling every part of everything that we do in our lives, and thus like I think like the most interesting line for me in terms of that ideology was when he's talking about it. And I think, well, obviously with the music, the songwriter, right, he discloses that but he's talking solely about music and some of the other media forms, and he's saying, like, I've done everything that you've ever, dance to, have renegaded against, like all this stuff, right? So like that was a big one for me. But then also I think when he was in the tub pouring tomato juice on himself when he was going off on it, um, it was just a lot of the stuff that he had talked about in there about like, about hidden things and the idea that like some people might get a different sense from the same thing. You know what I mean? So like that was number one. I don't know if that was the strongest one that I felt like theme going on, but it was definitely like a theme. I was kind of 50-50 between that and also like it was definitely a sexualized movie. Um, and I kind of got like this other vibe of it of like this is how like he looks at women, and like the whole dog thing was like this idea that like he really doesn't have like a life at all throughout the entirety of it. There's nothing that he has that like holds him down at all. And so it's like a dating quote unquote like a dog, cuz like they brought it up at the end there, like it's just like unconditional love, cuz you don't really have to do anything in return. But
Okay.
like the way, like, obviously he's just, sleeps with a bunch of women, he like doesn't work, he doesn't have a job, he doesn't really do anything, and he doesn't care about anything, and so there's no need, like he just isn't held down and constrained by anything. It's all unconditional to him. So that was the other option that I got. I don't know.
Okay. So, why did he have dog treats in his pocket, John?
I assume if the case is actually like going off of it and like we're looking at bare bones, like I assume that he was the one killing the dogs.
Yes. That is this guy, from my understanding, is a serial killer and kills dogs. And I knew that from one of the first frames in the movie.
See, I felt like that was just too like in your face.
Yeah. No, I
I
think
was
that
trying to
is
look for like
literally what's
reasoning
happening.
amongst everything else. Like,
Like a lot of the stuff that happens is just like completely serial killer things where he thinks that there's hidden messages. Like I think, what was it? Marilyn Manson found a message in a Beatles song to go and tell people to kill people in the Hollywood Hills. You
mhm.
know, um, he's carrying dog treats in his pocket. He basically in every situation he's stalking women
Yep.
and is and the association with women and dogs is like that they are he's killing dogs because of his frustration with women. That's kind of like that scene in the with the Hobo King. Is that somebody left him and now he's taking out his anger like by killing dogs. And there's also that scene right before they go skinny dipping in the lake where she's like, well, if somebody could kill a dog, don't you think it's like another step to go kill a human? Or like they wouldn't give a second thought to killing a human. He's like, oh, I don't think so. So I think but the ending, it's like the police officer and the landlord are coming into the building, and that's when his jig is about to be up because 'cause they're about to find bodies. And the reason that he smells all the time is because he's fucking constantly around rotting bodies in his apartment. And most of the people that he sees
Oh,
aren't real. People that he's either known before or has killed them, like escort of the stars. She's like, also, he has money. He keeps constantly paying for things when he has no money.
yeah, that's
Um,
true.
so she's like, the place got your credit card, right? And he's like, yeah. That's not true. She never brings it up again. All these people keep ending up in the same spots, all of them wanting to fuck him. Uh, like it's this just delusional. And also he's obviously obsessed with movies because a lot of movies are leaking into this fantasy of his.
Mhm. Yeah,
Like
there's, the
when
Black
he's following
Lagoon.
around the white convertible, and they're all like dressed in 80s clothes, you know, stuff like that. Also, I
Mhm.
think his mom's dead also, because those phone calls that he gets, I just think that she's not alive. I think those are phone calls he like very much like a Norman Bates type thing in Psycho, where his mom is dead and he still talks to her.
Mm.
Uh, Also, when that woman gets killed in the lake and she's falling downwards, she's in the exact same pose on that as that Playboy magazine that he has.
Oh my god.
Yes. So
I've
that's what I was talking
holy
about.
shit, you're fucking right.
So I think all of this, and then the reason I allude to Mulholland Drive is because Mulholland Drive is basically almost the same premise, where there's this actress who gets jealous of another actress and ends up killing her, and the whole movie is this deluded dream, like almost dreamlike state of her coming to terms with it, and then she ultimately kills herself.
Hmm. I thought
So
he was gonna kill himself eventually. I was kinda
yeah,
surprised that he didn't in the end.
mhm.
That was one thing I was kinda expecting the entire time.
But like the whole movie, I think is just like this delusional
So you think the
like
entire thing is just this that's, like, the
thing in his head.
main theme of it? Like, there's no other, like
I mean, there's themes of it. I'm just saying that's what's happening in the
yeah,
movie
that's,
from
like, the core.
like a
Okay.
character arc
See, I
standpoint.
don't think I, like, paid attention to that arc that much, and the
Mhm,
whole reason why is because I was looking for, like, this deep, like deep, like, super deep meaning, and I was just like, "Well, I know he is killing the dogs." Like, I kinda knew that at the beginning, and, like, I wasn't looking for, like, anything else.
mhm,
I kinda suspected, I guess, that there was some, like, deep hatred or, like not hatred, but, like, deep-seated, pain set forth onto him by, like, women. 'Cause there's
yeah.
definitely so much women in
Oh,
this
yes. He
movie,
thinks that,
you know?
that he's like, all these sexual encounters, maybe besides the one at the very end with that old woman,
Yeah,
are
I
probably
feel like
all in
that
his
was
head.
the only one that, like, was actually,
Also,
like, legitimate.
there's a lot of times where he associates getting off with pain. Like, literally when that woman finds out that her father's dead, he grabs his cock, dude. I don't know if you saw that. He literally reaches for it, like at that party. You know when she's like plastered, and then everybody finds out that her dad dies, and they're like, "Does she know?"
That's
And
'cause he
then he,
got kicked in the nuts though, right?
no, I would watch that scene again. And there's also a couple of the times where when he has everything spread out on his bed and he's jacking off, and he
Mhm.
like can't do it. I think it's so because he calls a stripper over to like this prostitute over to kill her. He gets off on pain. There's another instance in the movie where I think it's the very what is it? Oh yes,
Holy shit.
when that woman's given at the very beginning of the movie where he's having sex with his fuck buddy, you say,
Mhm.
and they're watching the TV, and this wife is pleading and crying for her husband to come home. That's when he gets off.
Oh, yeah, that's fucking oh my god, you're right. Wow, that's so fucking impressive.
There's so many details like that. Like that's why I love this. I was loving it so much, is because like just kind of
What
assuming
was the
that and
whole,
knowing that.
like,
Yeah.
purpose of, like, the guy that's writing those stories?
It's very common for people who are like, psychotic and
Mhm.
psychopathic to think that everybody's out to get them, or that their world is not what it seems, and that there's people leaving them messages, like that just all just feeds into his
His
like kind of,
delusions.
yeah, because really he has nothing. Like that's why
Mhm.
he hates the homeless, even though he is almost homeless himself.
And that
He's
guy says
disgusted
that,
by
right? I
them.
mean, he goes, "You're
Yeah,
more
he says
homeless
it.
than me."
Yeah, yeah, exactly, and he's right. So it's like all he's just like projecting basically.
That's incredible.
Because it would make more instead of him fucking up and like, being an awful person, the world is making an awful person out of him.
Yeah, it's easier
There's
to
nothing that he
feel
can do
that
about it.
they are
Yeah.
causing him
Mhm.
this.
Yeah.
Wow. No,
I love how
I
they did it.
mean,
I thought there was gonna be
honestly, I
some
thought it
like
was good.
revealing scene. Yeah, no, I really like. I thought there was gonna be some revealing scene where it was like, "Oh, this is it," and the closest I got to that was the dog treats thing, where I was like, "Oh, this is the most
Yeah,
overt
yeah.
they've gotten about it." But he
And
still
it
doesn't even say it. Like,
then nothing happens. He just says that well, I mean, he kind of alludes to it like you had said, like about the whole
he's just
idea
like,
of
"How
it.
long ago was that?" And he's like, "A
Yeah,
long time ago,"
yeah.
So, uh-huh.
And like, I mean, throughout the movie, like I said, in terms of him being the one that's killing the dogs, like I don't know, it's pretty clear.
Mhm.
Because like he feeds the same treat that then like I mean he has like that weird dream about where he's like following the line of treats to a dead dog's body. And
Yeah.
you're like, okay, like
Yeah, I
a
also
little
think the
sus that
girl
the
he's
treats
looking
are
after,
exactly the
he
same.
killed. Yeah, I think the girl that he Sarah, the one he's chasing the whole entire time, he killed, and,
Yeah, I
you
think
know,
so too.
that's
Hmm.
him also just, like,
Well, I think
coping.
like calling into the like ascension or whatever.
Yeah, because he wants to know that, like, she asked him if it was a mistake that she went down there, and he was like, "Maybe," because, he's the one who sent her down there
Yeah,
basically into the
exactly.
ground. And also,
Like,
in that car where that they found the bodies of her, there's a dog in it, like, in the trunk they
hmm.
mentioned. So, that was probably the cover up for hiding her body maybe.
Well, like all of them are down there, right? And then all of the three other women, you can assume that he killed the ones that he's
Mhm.
talking to right there, right? Or something.
Yeah.
And then
Maybe.
the guy, I kind of feel like they are ascending too, as we portray, but I think he killed them all,
Yeah. It's definitely possible.
and that's why they're gonna go into the ground.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that anybody that is quote unquote ascending in that movie is because of
Yeah,
him. like,
probably.
like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's
Mhm.
like that was definitely something that I was like, oh, this is wow.
Also, I noticed that people that I think are imaginary to him don't notice that he smells.
Yeah,
Like,
everybody
a lot
else
of people
like
that, like, are
knows.
actually there are like, "Oh my god, like, you smell horrible." And then he'll go from somebody, like, just saying that to somebody else who doesn't even mention it,
Hmm.
you
And
know?
is instead just like we should
Just
fuck,
talk to him. Yeah, exactly.
right?
Like,
Like the
exactly, that's
balloon
exactly my
chick.
point, yeah. So, it really is like that distinguishing from what's
Yep.
real and what's not. And really what's probably happening in that scene where he met that balloon girl and the cemetery party, that party probably was never there, and he was sitting in front of that actress's grave, like, that's
Mm.
why he woke up in front of it is because he was there because his mom liked that actor. So it's a lot of, very serial serial killer things.
Yeah. Well,
As far
definitely
as
with
what
that
you get as
vibe.
a general theme out of it, I don't know, I guess that's up to you.
How was the cinematography
I
in
mean, I
your
loved it
thing?
because there was a lot of allusions to Hitchcock
Yeah.
films and older Hollywood techniques. I think it was, like,
The framing was
widescreen.
amazing.
Yeah, it was very, compositional.
Mhm.
Every frame had, like, stuff packed into it, and it was really, a lot of old school techniques were used. Not, like, too much, but, enough to make it feel like an old school Hollywood movie, which is definitely what it was going for, I think.
I think like midway through the movie, I started to see how much shit was like around them all the time, and I ended up like I saw that at the beginning, but like what I mean is like halfway through, like I was paying more attention to like all the background shit than
Yeah.
like what was actually like in the forefront of the screen. Like
Yeah, by the way,
especially when
yeah.
he started talking to like that guy that's writing those stories, and there's like all these newspaper clippings and like
Yeah,
then I was like, okay, what's that say over there? And I'm like, that
Also,
could
the
come
owl
important.
lady is also representation of his feeling towards women, like,
Yeah, the idea that like this woman comes in, has sex, and then kills you,
kills you. Yeah.
like, is reminiscent of like this idea that like you fall in love with someone and then they break your heart,
Mhm.
right? Like that's
Yeah,
what
pretty
like
much.
that's what his feeling is, you know. You
Mhm.
get hurt after you have a committed thing. Which again, like as I was saying about the dogs, and that whole line about the unconditional love, like I think that's definitely something to remember because I think, this idea that he is hurting from this pain that he's, that he believes is coming from like from women. Like I think that ties into this idea that he can kill dogs without having any feelings.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Not saying that he never killed people, because I mean we saw him fucking beat the shit out of kids,
Yeah, that was
bash
like
some
the
dude's head
because
in
I
with a
thought at the
guitar.
after I saw like the very it was one I think it's like the first shot, yeah, because it pulls in or the second one, and it
Mhm.
shows him framed with beware the dog killer behind him on the window.
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Oh, he's the dog killer." Like, I immediately thought that, and I'm just like, "Let's see." And then when he beat up those kids, I'm like, "Okay, he's definitely the dog killer. He's, like,
He had
obviously violent."
zero remorse. Like he
Yeah,
is
yeah.
so violent.
There's like yeah, I mean, when he beats up that, like, musician,
Mhm.
Jesus, like, just pulls him off the toilet and just beats the
Dude,
shit out
guy
of
was
him.
taking a shit and he just
Yeah.
rips him right off the bowl.
So,
Well,
yeah.
he clearly is violent, very aggressive.
Mhm.
No, like, I mean, I kept on saying throughout the movie, I was like, holy shit, he just goes into whatever house he feels like. Like, he
Also a lot
has
of
no
yeah, yeah,
respect for
that he's
anything.
breaking in, yeah.
Yeah, he just keeps on breaking into all these places. Like,
Mhm. Yeah, what was I gonna also, there's, like, lighting cues that were, like, very villainous lighting cues, like, when the police officer first went to his door with, like, the landlord, like,
mm-hmm,
he was just, like, top half of his face was, like, completely draped in shadows, like, a very villanesque, like, hiding something look.
mm-hmm.
There's just, like, a couple lighting cues that are also suggesting that he's pretty dark.
There was a couple camera angles where they were looking, like, down at him, or, like, you know
Mhm.
how they, like, do that sometimes?
Yeah, yeah.
I noticed that a couple times.
Mm.
Um, that
Also, the party he
shot with
goes
the
to is
squirrel,
purgatory.
too.
Yeah. He probably killed that squirrel,
Yeah, I think
in
so.
reality. That was probably the first thing he killed, maybe.
I just thought it was interesting how the squirrel like comes out of the tree and the camera angle starts like below, but
Oh,
then
yeah, it does
cycles
like a
up
dolly,
above.
it's funny, it dollies in, and then it,
Yeah,
like, flips up. Yeah, and it falls straight onto the camera.
it was really interesting.
Mhm. But, yeah,
Um,
also that party on the rooftop he goes to is purgatory. I don't know if you
yeah,
caught
that was
that.
interesting. I didn't quite
Yeah.
get the pins. Did you
Yeah,
understand
I'm
that?
not sure
She like
exactly what
hands
that's
him
going
one and then
for.
goes, "Use it wisely," and I was
Uh,
like, "What does that mean?"
yeah, I'm not sure exactly on that one, I might have to rewatch it, you know?
There was like the whole like they started because okay, so he walks in, she hands him a pin, she goes, "Use it wisely," and then
And then
he
other
has a
people pop
pin.
the balloons.
And then other people pop the balloons and he throws the pin behind him
Oh, maybe it's
without
supposed
them
to
noticing.
represent that he's, again, getting, like, sexually rejected, that, other people are sticking this girl with pins, and he doesn't end up.
Oh. Hmm. I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe that, yeah.
Because there's, I don't, yeah, I guess that could be it.
Yeah, I
I was
mean,
trying to tie it to also because, like, the pins were in cherries,
mhm.
which are, like,
Yeah, another
nuts.
sexual thing, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Because I was trying to think maybe the pin, yeah, like you were saying, like, the pin's like the dick. So then, like,
Mhm.
everybody's
Pops their
sticking their
bubble.
dick in her,
Yeah,
but he doesn't
exactly.
get to, right? So he just
Mhm.
throws it behind him, throws his
Yep,
dick out.
exactly. Yeah, but from a cinematography standpoint, very well done. I think there's a lot of green screen shots that are very obvious.
Yeah.
I think they could have been done better.
The matte
But it
painting
was
was cool that you had brought
no, I
up.
like it when they no, that seems purposeful. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes when they use the green screen, it just didn't look that good. Like,
Mhm.
when they're covering up the billboard or just that billboard in general, like, with that girl's face on it. Um, which is probably now that I think about it, it's probably the girl who ended up like, causing all of this. She's probably real.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
the camera angle was, like, it was such a wide camera angle when it did a reaction shot of him, like, he was completely dazed by it,
I
like
forgot about that because yeah, he walks up to her and she's like, "Hey, how you been?" Like,
yeah.
and again, like now she's like married, and so we can allude to the idea
Mhm,
that like obviously they had been together at one point,
mhm.
and I think it's safe to say that she's still alive.
Yes.
So like, and like all these billboards and shit. So like, that's probably the start of this downward spiral that he put himself into.
Yes.
I was trying to figure out why. I mean, I kind of have an idea, but I was also trying to figure out why at the end there, why like half her face was covered in a like the clown, and it said, like what it said, like what was happening basically with that billboard. I kind of got. I mean, obviously, I felt like that tied to the whole idea of like what the hobo guy I think said, the hobo king, which he was saying that like was it him? I don't know. Someone had said something basically about the idea that like he's stuck in like a carnival throwing like
Yeah, yeah.
plastic
No,
rings
it
on
was the
the
guy, the
oversized.
pirate guy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. So like I was like kind of like okay, well like, the clown is reminiscent of this idea that he lives in this like fucking carnival world, like this fake diluted carnival. But I don't know if that's really what like cuz I was trying to figure out why they would half her face was covered as a clown and the other half was her face.
Yeah, I think those probably linked.
So, just kind of interesting.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it though. I
Oh,
liked
I
it a
thought it
lot.
was really good. Like
Yeah.
honestly, that was interesting.
Trip.
It was a trip. It was definitely a trip. I would
Yeah.
I would definitely say uh definitely a trip. I
I'm
was
glad
trying
that
to
they didn't
think.
spill the beans all at the end. Like, just like, "Oh, you're the dog killer." And he's gonna be like, "What are you talking about? I don't kill
Yeah, I'm
dogs."
glad like they didn't have him like have someone like
Yeah.
break into his like house or something and like or not like but like when the policeman and all that came in, like the
Yeah, I
policewoman and
thought
like
for a
the
second
guy
maybe they
like
would show them discovering something,
yeah,
but they
like
cut it
I
right
was
before that
happy.
happens. Yeah. They cut it right
And
before
you're
it's
just
about to
like, what the
happen, I
fuck
think.
is all this? And then it just
Yeah.
like cuts and you're like, oh, okay. I gotta say, I kind of now need to go like rewatch some Alfred Hitchcock movies
Yeah, dude, what here, I
because
can
I
give
have
you
to
some
like match
recommendations right
up.
now.
Well, I
We're
know I okay, so I've seen like Psycho, I watched
Mhm.
Vertigo, The Birds, I watched fucking what's that one called
You
with
need
the
to watch
bunny?
Rear Window.
There's one with a bunny. Shit, I'm
Uh,
trying to think about what that fucking one's
a
called.
bunny?
Yeah, the 50-foot tall bunny.
I don't think that's an Alfred Hitchcock movie.
Oh, yes it is.
I remember you telling me about this movie. I'm
Harvey.
pretty
I think it's
sure
called Harvey.
I know, but he didn't. I don't think Alfred Hitchcock made that movie.
Really?
No.
I feel like it was along the
You
same.
mentioned this movie a lot.
I do, dude, because I remember this movie. Was it not hard? Maybe not. Hang on. No, it's
If
not.
you're gonna, yeah, I know it's not.
I think I watched it right after I watched Vertigo, so that might be why I thought. Because I watched
Yeah.
Vertigo.
Well,
Vertigo
you
was
need to
pretty good.
watch. You need to watch North by Northwest. You could watch Strangers on a Train. You could
Hmm.
also watch Rear Window, which is my personal favorite. Rear Window is alluded to with the binoculars sitting on the the balcony type thing.
Hmm.
But not really. The whole movie in Rear Window, the whole movie is like it's Jimmy Stewart and he's hurt his leg, but he's a photographer, so in the spare time he looks out his rear window into like this kind of like apartment square complex, and
Hmm.
he thinks that his neighbor might have murdered his wife, and that is the movie.
Hmm. Interesting. No, wow.
But yes,
Just wow.
if you watch Alfred Hitchcock movies and just compare it to this one, it's obvious that the director is very fond of Alfred
Oh,
Hitchcock.
I would say so, considering that there's like a shot of like Hitchcock's grave just like
Yeah.
there, the
Uh-huh.
headstone, you know?
Mhm.
Um, there's something else. Oh, I love all the movie references and like the music.
Yes.
That was fucking funny. I really like my favorite part of the entire movie, honestly, was with the songwriter.
Yeah, I know.
I really
I knew you'd
enjoyed
like
that.
that.
I was like,
Yeah.
dude, this is fucking funny. Because
It's a
I
good
just
scene.
love.
By the way, that guy I was gonna mention at the time, that's totally a guy in makeup, by the way. I don't know who plays him, but it's
Hmm.
looks like a person in old man makeup.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know,
Yeah,
maybe I
I
can
guess
look
I
it
could have
up.
seen that a little bit. He talked way too clearly to be that old, like the way that he looked.
I can just tell what by the way he looked it was makeup though. Let's
But
see.
I love that idea that he like brings up like that it's
Mhm.
like this one guy that's writing all these like not all these songs, but like all these songs and like they're all coming out of one guy's piano and like
Mhm.
he is the one that like when you're listening to music, he's the one that has done it all and like nothing that you've listened to or anything is like artificial.
Yeah.
Is that the right terminology? I guess. I don't know.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
get
he
my
thought
point.
yeah, yeah, I know what you're
Like
saying.
I just thought that was such a cool idea. I really like the idea of like what I had brought up before about this idea of like you're like the world is not as it seems. that it's like more than that.
Yeah, so it does look like it was somebody in old man makeup, somebody called Jeremy Bob.
Jeremy Bob.
I'll put that righty in the Discord.
But you got anything else? Any finishing remarks here? We're winding
I
down.
would say, I really enjoyed it. I'm not sure. It's not as original as It Follows, I feel. Just comparatively, I
It
think.
Follows is way easier to follow.
But I also think that this movie's just like so well done in so many
Oh,
ways that it
so
isn't
good.
like an improvement on It Follows as far as like technicality and filmmaking goes, and
The
it
head
being
bash, still, I say, yeah, could have been
yeah. No,
better.
I thought it was fine. I thought
I
it
was
was
like, no, I thought it was just okay. I was like, dude, come on. Like,
what were you expecting?
I don't know. I kind of just, honestly, it would have been better. I think I would have liked it, honestly, better if it wasn't a head bash.
Yeah.
Or, like, it was a head bash, but, like, I felt like it was just so, like, chunky.
Yeah,
I don't know
I
if
don't know.
that's what I meant to say.
Again, it's like it's
Like,
kind
he
of
could,
alluding to old Hollywood. I'm okay with the effects
oh,
kind of looking
okay.
kind of
I
cheesy,
mean,
you
I
know?
kind of just like it. Kind of made the head look hollow, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Because like when you think about it, like he just swung the guitar at the guy's head, and like after a few bangs, like it just totally like concaves into itself and looks like an Easter egg that like got broken open with
Mhm.
like caramel in the center, and it's just a hollow Easter egg. You know what I mean? And like so,
Yeah.
I was kind of like, like I feel like if it had like a little bit more chunk to it, and they did it that way, then okay. Or if they just kind of went with like just like really just a lot of blood and like the head being kind of slightly deformed from like him bashing it so hard that he's just breaking all like the skull bones in it, like the nose and stuff like that. I think I would have been totally okay with that.
Yeah.
But I kind of just felt like it just looked like a hollow, like I said, like one of those like shit, fucking one of those eggs that has the cream in the center.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I don't know what the fuck it's called. Anyways, it just kind of felt like the blood just came pouring out of like a hollow, shell, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. And I was kind of like, eh. Like I thought, again, I thought it was cool, and it didn't like linger on it long enough that you would really be like. So I'm just being critical. I don't think
Yeah.
that would stop me from watching this movie again. But
No,
I'm just
no.
saying, I think that in terms of that, a little bit more could have been cool.
Mhm.
But
But
overall, I think it was a terrific experience.
yeah, if I'm sure hopefully people watched it before listening to this. So
Yeah,
hopefully
well, I
everybody else
did
does
I
it
did give
too.
him the warning.
The warning.
The
Go
warning
watch the
wasn't there.
movie.
I do think this is one of those movies where like I can
Go into it
imagine.
with little amount as possible by the way.
Oh
Like
yes,
uncomfortable amount.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's the
But
best way to do it.
I think this is one of those movies that if you went to go see it in theaters, it would definitely be one of those ones where like some people will walk out being like, "This is amazing," and then others you'd hear walking by that
Mhm.
are like, "I don't get the fuck. Like,
Yeah,
what the
yeah,
fuck
I'm
did I
sure.
just pay for?" You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like, it's
100%.
definitely one of those movies.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
But I thought it was really great.
I did too. I
If I were to give it a rating,
recommend.
it would probably be like an 8 to a 9, maybe an 8.
I'd probably give it an 8 just because I don't know. I think there's movies that I feel like are higher on my list.
Yeah. Again,
I
like I
don't
was
think it
kind of
was
saying,
bad. So like I think it's just,
yeah.
8 out of 10. And then obviously um I don't know. I think it pulls from a lot of reference material like you were saying.
Mhm.
So I don't know. And you had already described it as, slightly unoriginal. Not really like
Not unoriginal,
unoriginal,
it's
but like
more
it's
just I
not
like the
completely as
dark take
original.
on it, 'cause, like, no like, old Hollywood never got that dark,
Oh, this
really.
was fucking dark.
It was a very dark movie, and that's what I
Yeah.
really liked about it.
It had
It's
no
like a
problem being
dark old
dark.
Hollywood movie,
They
yeah. But,
didn't
again, I
like
was kinda
censor
saying, like,
anything.
I'm almost certain I know what is happening here, but I would almost rather it be the case where I have no idea what's happening.
Mhm.
But that's very hard to do, just, like, keep somebody completely in the dark as to what's happening,
I
and
feel
then,
like if you
like
did that, it would just totally fuck this movie, in my
yeah,
personal
I don't know.
opinion.
I really liked it, is what I was saying.
Yeah, I did
There's
too.
not a lot to find wrong with it. There's a couple things you can nitpick,
Mhm.
but I thought it was a very entertaining, enjoyable movie.
What was
At
the budget for this?
I don't know. Probably a pretty, if I had to guess, like 10, 20 million.
You think so?
Yeah.
8 million. Wait,
8? Okay, there you go.
Here's he stays Spanish stars. So yeah, $8 million budget.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
It made 2 million in the box
Yeah, I
office.
remember it not doing very well. It didn't have a wide release. I couldn't see it.
Yeah. That's too
So
bad. I feel like it would have been more interesting if it had a wider release. Oh, weird.
I still think people probably it's a very weird movie. Like if I showed this to my
Mm.
mom, she'd be like, "Why the fuck did you show me that?" Like,
You think May Reed would watch it?
she would watch it. I'm not sure she would like it. She might like
Mm.
it. I don't know. She surprises me sometimes with
My mom
something I
definitely
think she
wouldn't
would
watch
hate,
this.
and then she really likes it.
I promise you, my family would not watch this.
Yeah, this is a good family movie, John.
No, I don't think so.
You should bring this to the family movie night.
Yeah, you think so? They'd
I
be
could
like,
recommend
"What the
worse ones
fuck is
during the family
wrong with
movie night
this?"
if you want.
No, I don't.
You don't need any
I have
help?
I have a hard enough time having them watch like like Seven or something like that. Like
Yeah,
this is like way darker than that. Like
yes. But I really like this movie.
I do too. Right.
Especially being a film person, I think it helps just
Mm-hmm.
like, seeing the inspiration it's coming from. I don't think it ever was done, but I was really hoping the director would walk in front of the camera holding an instrument like how Alfred Hitchcock does in all of his movies. But I feel like that might be a little disrespectful, maybe. I don't know. Maybe not disrespectful, but
That'd be kind of like yeah,
stomping, kind of stepping on Alfred Hitchcock.
yeah.
But it seemed like he obviously loved it enough to just completely make like I imagine like writing this and going into like making this. That's what he thought he was just making a Alfred Hitchcock modern day movie. Is probably the way
Mhm.
he would pitch it. That's the way I would pitch it. Is it's a modern day Hitchcock movie that's kind of dark.
That's definitely how I'd pitch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with that being said, I think this is gonna conclude our episode 8, unless you have anything else to add, Corny.
Nope. I'm all good.
So I would say, from both of us, giving it a 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, we highly recommend that you watch it if you're interested in something like a modern day Alfred Hitchcock movie.
Hmm.
Um, and yes, thank you guys so much for coming by and hanging out with us. We will see you guys next Tuesday for episode 9 of the Junk Box. Catch you guys then. Peace out.